Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome. I, of course, am Cody Zeeb. Welcome to the NASCAR Gambling Podcast, talking some Xfinity Series today. Of course, Rod is on Army duty this week, so he's not going to be with us. Happy Independence Day, by the way, to everybody. Thank you to guys like Rod and everybody else that's serving our country, has served our country before, that allows us to have, this great holiday. We get to blow shit up, have some fun. Make sure you stay safe, stay healthy out there as you're enjoying your weekend festivities. So yeah, we get to have 4th of July here on Friday, and then boom, Saturday into Xfinity Series racing. So yeah, looking forward to that. Pretty quiet in the NASCAR news world, not really a ton. And also Rod did not have a chance to get any Xfinity Series picks sent over. So, chat, going to be leaning in on you. If you've got some picks you like, some stuff that you want to talk about, make sure you drop it in the chat. I'll, gonna interact with the chat a little bit more today. Try and cover some of your best bets and talk through some of the things that you want to talk about when it comes to the bets. So yeah, here we are. So this race at Chicago here for the Xfinity Series, I kind of talked about this. So if you go back yesterday, I talked about DFS for both the Cup Series and the Xfinity Series, and talked about kind of surprised by the entry list. Not a bunch of Cup guys in this last year. Last year, if you look at the results tab, it was nothing but Cup guys, right? It was Shane Van Gisbergen goes out, wins the race. Of course, he was a full-time Xfinity guy last year, but Ty Gibbs finished in second. Kyle Larson finished in third. So yeah, all of those guys were in the field. And then I thought, Daniel Suarez was in the race. He didn't finish as well. John Hunter Nemechek was in this race as well. So there were a ton of Cup guys. AJ Allmendinger was in this race. Was he? I guess he was full-time. I don't remember. Hard to keep track of when he was in the Cup, when he was in Xfinity. But nonetheless, don't get that this year as much. So there is 40 entries, 38 spots. That does mean that 2 drivers will go home. SVG, he is the notable Cup guy in this one. We're going to talk about him a ton today. Heavy favorite in this race. He is not only in this race, but he's in this race in the JRM number 9 car. Last year he was in the 97 for Kaulig. That's all fine and dandy, but now he's in the number 9 car for JRM. We obviously know how good that program is and how good that car in particular is. So going to be talking plenty about him today. Connor Mosack returns. He's going to be in the 14 car for SS Greenlight. Is worth noting he had a good run. Was that 2 years ago when he ran good? I was trying to pull up quick results here. Maybe that was last year. Yeah, he had a 6th place finish last year, but he was in the 88 car for Junior Motorsports last year. He's in the SS Greenlight car this year, so that is notable for him. Jack Perkins is making a start in the number 19 car for Joe Gibbs Racing. Of course, that's a great car. Talked about a little bit about him on the DFS show yesterday, just kind of getting to figure out who he is. He is kind of a supercars guy, done some other stuff, but this will be his first NASCAR start, really, of any type. And I've actually got some thoughts on him as well. So we'll be talking about him here in a few. Kaz Gralla, he is going to be back in the number 24 car for Sam Hunt Racing. My guy, Austin Green, we'll be talking about Austin Green today. He is going to be back in the number 32 car, of course, for Jordan Anderson Racing. Preston Pardis, he's back in that Pardis family racing car for the number 50. Thomas Annunziata is going to be in the 70 car for, that is for the Cope family racing for Derek Cope and Josh Balicki, who we talked a lot about on the DFS show yesterday. If you like to hear the guys, like, not any way to bet on Josh Balicki in this race, right? There's no reason we talk about him on the betting episode, but DFS fantasy stuff yesterday, he's definitely a guy that came up and we talked about. So he will be in the number 91 car this week for DGM Racing. Going to catch up with the chat here in a second. It's blowing up already, which much appreciated. I need the chat to help me carry through when I am by myself. But I want to tell you first about SGPN Network feed on your favorite podcast player. You can listen to every podcast episode on the network for absolutely free just by subscribing to the SGPN feed. You can get it wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, whatever you Android people listen to. JDK's in the chat. I know he listens on some different thing. Wherever you're getting your podcasts at, just type in SGPN Network. There's one feed. It's got our shows in there. It's got the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, or the Sports Gambling Podcast in there. Old Fashioned Football, WNBA, MLB, UFL, I think just concluded. That's in there. There's CFL, anything, everything you're wanting to be betting on. We've got shows for it, and it's all nice and neat in that one little place. If nothing else, that's a great place to go. Hey, what other shows are on the network? Let's check them out, right? They're all getting uploaded into that feed. You can, search around in there. It's one easy, cool place to find all of that. So make sure you subscribe to the SGPN Network feed over there. All right, check in with all my friends here. TK showing up with the wave. Hello, TK. Says maybe it's a schedule grind, too much effort. That certainly could be part of it with the Cup guys, and this being the last year. So it's like, how much more is there to gain? They weren't allowed to run the first year because it was a brand new place. They didn't want anybody to kind of have that advantage. So then year 2, you get some guys like, okay, let's figure it out. Let's get the extra laps. Now year 3, like, yeah, okay, we've simmed. We've run here a couple of times. All of this stuff. So, yeah, that is what it is. So Bernard the third checking in says, found you guys a couple months ago. Thank you for all the good picks. Had some good caches and should follow some of the other ones I don't believe in as they hit more often than not. That's always the worst when it's like you get like a selection of picks and you're like, I'm gonna take this one, and then the other one hits, like, oh fuck. But we always say it's a buffet, right? You take the ones you like. So that's how we like to look at it. But glad to catch this live. Keep up the great work. Let's make some money. Glad to have you here. Thanks for joining us. Joining us over on the X. Of course, you can watch live on the YouTube as well. And the Facebook. JDK checking in says afternoon. Samuel Smith checking in. KG with the winky face. TK saying Cup drivers maybe also don't want to get mixed up between cars. Bell mentioned the back-to-back qualifying messed up his Cup qualifying effort at Mexico. Certainly is a thing as well. and JDK being Mr. Funny in the chat. Also, so yeah, shout out to all of you guys joining us in the chat. The Xfinity Series race is going to be on Saturday. So let's pull up the schedule here. They're running the full show on Saturday, 9:30 a.m. practice time in the Central Time Zone there, 10:35 qualifying. So they're really getting right after it. Then you get your Cup practice, your Cup qualifying, and they're going to race 3:30 p.m. Central Time. Of course, over on the CW, like all of the Xfinity races are now. You can also listen on the MRN radio. And this race, the Loop 110, 50 laps. Nice and simple, 110 miles around this course, which, as we know, 2.2 miles. And I believe it is 12 turns. Why don't they put that info? Okay, I think it's either 12 or 14 turns. I'll let you figure it out because it's not on the tab that I have open, but that's okay. Bernard checking in, saying DraftKings is taking away fastest laps. Love those props. Heartbroken if they're gone. My guess, potentially, you could still see a pop up, right? Probably don't. The books get weird about stuff, right? They don't. Last week we didn't get any Xfinity top 10s. As I'm recording this on Thursday afternoon, we don't have Xfinity top 10s this week. So I think they're picking and choosing. Like, they don't want to do it on super speedways. They don't want to do it on road courses with some chaos and stuff. The fastest lap thing, I mean, SVG would be a heavy Mexico. Larson got the damage early, comes out, lays down the fast lap late. So I don't know why they would want to maybe not have that. You could just price SVG out of the market and then put it out there. So hopefully, maybe it's just something they're slow to getting to. It is 4th of July week, right? Maybe less people in the office. They're getting all their wiener props ready for the 4th of July. Who knows? But hopefully they will keep putting those out. So, all right. I think really not much else to talk about other than to start getting into the picks. So we're going to do that. Pretty simple. I've got my card this week. Again, Rod's out on the Army stuff and just he's been extremely busy doing all that. So unfortunately hasn't had time, especially with the delay in odds. I wasn't able to do this show yesterday like the plan was because they didn't have any props out really yesterday. So went with the DFS instead. And then, they were kind of slow to getting stuff out this morning as well. So Jess checking in over on the X as well. Says good evening. Good evening, Jess. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. All right, guys, I'm going to jump in with my first prop of the week. I'm going to go over to DraftKings for this one. They've got Sam Mayer over Jack Perkins -115. So Jack Perkins, I mentioned him, right? He is the other, Australian guy, right? So he's from Melbourne, Australia. He's a 38-year-old driver. He's running supercars. This is going to be his first Xfinity start. He's not run anything else when it comes to that. He's done Australian Ford Championship stuff. He's done the V8 supercars. He's done Aussie racing cars, international supercars, Australian GT stuff. I mean, there's a number of things, some sedan series stuff. So he is a road course guy, right? A street course guy. He's run all of that and done all that. Now he's coming over here. He is in a good car. So you certainly have to give him that, right? He is in a Joe Gibbs racing car, which we know those are fast cars. Those are good cars. So you like to see that for him. But outside of that, what can we expect from him? We slept on SVG a little bit, and it was like he comes over and kicks his ass, right? A lot of different circumstances, a lot of different things. I don't know that we're going to, have him come in and do all that. He's also not the accomplished driver somebody like SVG is, and so I don't think that he is going to be SVG by any means. And Sam Mayer is a great road course driver. I think you like that. So if you go back and you look, I did want to point out just to kind of freshen or refresh your mind, right? So we've been at the Chicago race 2 years. And if you go back and you look at 2 years ago's results, it's really tough because that was a race where all the rain was crazy, like potential torrential downpours. It was raining a bunch, all of that stuff. And we just didn't really get a good look at anything. They ended up shortening that race. I think it was. It was almost like everybody pretty much started where they finished. We didn't really see any actual racing. So I'm going to say hard to look at that, and I'm not really going to reference the 2023 results too much. 2024, we came back last year, was more of a normal race. I don't remember if rain was in that, but we actually ran all 50 laps and got the race in. So you certainly can look at that. So Mayer finished 19th here last year. You definitely could want a better result than that for sure. But if you go back and you look at what he's done on road courses, 23rd at Mexico. So again, it's like, oh boy, you need probably better results than that to beat this Jack Perkins guy. But he was running up front near the end of that. I think he was top 10 when the late spin happened. That's how he ended up back in 23rd. That's always that's bit me many times on head-to-heads on road courses. You always have late spins, late bump and runs, right? But there's less places here to spin guys out than there is. It's a lot easier to just kind of ship a guy into the grass at a road course like Mexico City. You don't have that as much here. But you go back to Coda, third place run there, right? A great day for him. Last year, 20th place, or a win rather at the Roval, 20th place at Watkins Glen. So sometimes you're getting these bad results mixed in there. We need to avoid that. But for the most part, he's pretty consistent. Third at Sonoma, 28th at Portland, but he was third place with 2 laps to go, brushed the wall there and ended up with a bad finish. 9th place at Coda the previous year as well, or last year as well. But you go back to 2023, Baby AJ Allmendinger was the nickname he had, right? 3 wins, 5 podium finishes. Sam Mayer is a really great road course racer, a really good driver. He's used to this series, used to these cars. It was brought up in the chat yesterday too. A guy like Jack Perkins hasn't done NASCAR style pit stops. He hasn't done, where they have to follow pit road speed and you got to, maximize the lights, all this stuff. So I think that's going to go against him. And I know this number is moving already. So last night, when I first wrote it down, it was minus 110 over on ESPN. It's moved to minus 115 to Sam Mayer over there. So I would get in on this sooner rather than later. But give me Sam Mayer over Jack Perkins. You can still get that one minus 115 over on the DraftKings. All right, I am going to catch up with the chat here in a second. But first, I want to tell you about my friends over at Circa Sports. They've got the Circa Million and Circa Survivor going on. You think you know ball? Then you have to enter Circa's football contest. $21 million in guaranteed prizes. There is no rake. So if entries go above the guarantee, all the extra money goes into the prize pool. Derek Stevens over there at the Circa, he's a man of the people. He's not taking extra off the top. If there's extra, it all goes back to the people. You got to love that. The Circa Million, you pick 5 teams against the spread each week, or you can go for the ultimate sweat in Circa Survivor. I would suggest doing both. There's even a Circa Grandismo, a $100,000 Survivor contest. So you high rollers out there, that's the one for you. You must register in person at a Circa Sportsbook in Nevada. Great excuse to go to Las Vegas. You can sign up in Nevada, but then you can play from anywhere with the help of one of SGPN's official proxy. You go to footballcontest.com, use the promo code SGP to get $50 off your proxy fees. I also like to tell you about our friends over at MyBookie. MyBookie.ag, we're brought to you by them. MyBookie is the place to bet on every sport, including the MLB, WNBA, golf, and of course, football futures, F1, NASCAR. They've got a little bit of everything over there. They accept customers from a ton of locations. Make sure you check out if it's available where you are. Good chance that it probably is. Easy deposit, lightning fast payouts using crypto. F1 going on this week over in the British GP. I'm still all in on Lewis Hamilton at 18-1. I think he's a little bit of an outlier, worth the shot. First trip over there in Ferrari. He won last year in the Mercedes. I think that maybe this is the week he's got something for them. So you can grab him 18-1 over at mybookie.ag. So head over to mybookie.ag. Use that promo code SGPN when you sign up for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. All right. Thanks for hanging with me there, folks. Let's catch up on the chat here. Got some Perkins thoughts from TK. Perkins was preparing for Portland Xfinity run, which was going to have non-competitive pit stops. So is for sure aware but concerned with the pit stops. Sounds like Chicago was a very last-minute deal. So some inside info from down under for you there. Cousin Danny, make NASCAR great again. Send all the Aussies to the alligator pit. He's had enough of this. Apologies to Nico and TK. We got some great listeners. And yes, JDK pointing out that SVG is from New Zealand. You shouldn't get the two confused there. What's next? Australian punters in football? Oh, wait. Yeah, hey, these Australians, they know their sports. They're good at the sports. So, hey, we want to get better, and you got to love seeing that. So, look, SVG has opened up. Australian guys, supercars guys coming over is not a new thing, right? That's happened in American motorsports for a long time. Marcos Ambrose, of course, is the biggest profile one previously in NASCAR. He came here quite some time ago when we only had 2 road courses on the schedule and turned it into a pretty good NASCAR career. Guys like Scotty Mack in IndyCar, some other stuff. But SVG coming over, winning that initial race here at Chicago in the Cup Series, obviously opened up, floodgates, right, for him personally, because it's transformed into a full-time Cup Series ride. He's, likely in the playoffs now with having a win. He could lock himself into the playoffs for sure with a win this weekend in the Cup Series race. But it's opened up possibilities for other guys, right? We've seen the Will Browns come over and do it. We've seen some other guys make starts. Now a guy like Perkins getting to come over as well certainly is a very positive thing, and you love to see that, and you love to see those guys getting opportunities because of SVG's success. So like to see that. All right, let's get into my next bet here. I'm going to go back to Christian Eckes, top 5 plus 475. Over on Hard Rock is actually the best place that I've found for him. We don't have any top 10 options, so some of these guys, really these 3 top 5s that I'm going to give out, I would also probably be very interested in their top 10 numbers based on where their top 5s are. So if we get that option down the road, right, maybe you can add play in both. I still like their top 5s, but top 10 certainly, you get those extra 5 spots, can mean a lot. But Christian Eckes plus 475 over on Hard Rock for a top 5. First year in Xfinity, so this is going to be his first time on the Chicago Street Course. He did not run here last year. Trucks, of course, do not run here, so it will be his first time seeing this place. But as I talked about yesterday on the DFS show, he's been pretty good on the road course stuff in Xfinity so far this year, and going back to his Truck Series career as well. So go back to Mexico, couple 4th place, a nice strong run. Daniel Suarez ends up winning that race, and he just was solid. And he started in 34th, so keep that in mind, right? Started in 34th, bad start, but still was able to fight his way through the field, make the right strategy calls. Things worked out for him. Still got to the top 5 at the end of the day. So if he goes out and qualifies bad, don't just completely write him off, because he just showed us at Mexico City he could get it done. COTA is the one other race we've been to so far this year. Starts in 10th, finishes in 5th. So 2 for 2 in his Xfinity Series career, because he's only made starts this year in his Xfinity Series career. 2 for 2 on the road courses, in the top 5. So you love to see that. And both were road courses with Cup guys, ringers, whatever it is, still able to get it done. One other thing I wanted to mention too, I talked about this on the Cup Series betting episode back on Tuesday, is I don't like to look at Chicago Street Course data or stats when I'm looking at road courses in a general sense, but flip the other way around. I think that there's so little Chicago to lean into. We've only got 2 races, and really for Xfinity, we've only got 1, because I don't think you can look too much at 24. So I think that looking at road courses as a whole, because road course racing plays into what street course racing is, even though I think street course is somewhat of a different discipline. So that's why I think it's hard to do it the other way around. But, if we had a bunch of street courses or something, be easier this way. But I think that using the road course stats is the way to go. So even though a guy like Eckes has not raced here, that doesn't overly concern me. Go back to last year, though, in the Truck Series, 1 road course on the schedule last year. That was at COTA, 8th place run. So he was solid in the Truck Series as well. Go back to 2023, a rough day at COTA, but Mid-Ohio, 3rd place run. Had a great day there. And he certainly had some other good starts as well. So 2 for 2 so far in his career. Pretty solid at them in the trucks as well, in that Colleague camp. So SVG, I guess probably not really any crossover with SVG there because he was gone by the time Eckes went to Colleague. But AJ Allmendinger, still a Colleague guy over in the Cup Series. So no doubt he is helping these Xfinity guys, giving them pointers. And I would say so far that's worked out pretty well for Mr. Eckes. So, yeah, top 5 plus 475 over on the Hard Rock. Next up, we're going to go to Austin Green, top 5. You can get Austin Green's top 5, 18-1 over on DraftKings. I do like to see a number like this. This is a guy, if you get a top 10 option on Austin Green, absolutely you want to do that. And let's start with last year's race, right? I mentioned the top 3, Shane Van Gisbergen, Ty Gibbs, Kyle Larson. 2 of those guys not going to be in this. Oh, and I forgot to mention Joey Logano, who finished 8th. So another guy. So you have 4 cup guys in the top 15. You take out Gibbs, you take out Larson, you take out Logano. You got SVG still, and you can add Zilich into this mix. But Austin Green finished 10th place last year. So you take out a couple of those cup guys. Suddenly we're looking at about an 8th place finish. He could easily, sneak his way up into the top 5 at 18-1. And of course, if we get the top 10 options back, that's where I'm going to definitely hit Austin Green for sure, because I would love to see a top 10 option. I don't think the books ever posted top 10s last week after not having them up early. So I'm not super positive on the fact that we're going to probably get them, but we'll see. He had a rough outing at COTA to start the season. Okay, that's fine. But Mexico City, a 7th place run. Austin Green has been my guy since last year when he made his first career start and impressed right away with a 7th place run at COTA. He then followed it up with a 15th at Portland, a 4th place at Sonoma, the 10th place here, 11th at Watkins Glen. Really good runs. Had a rough day at the Roval. Things happen, right? So, but Austin Green since day one has been a dude. He's getting better. Of course, if you don't know, son of David Green, if you're a longtime NASCAR fan, you know the Green family of brothers. He is part of that family, and he's run. I think he ran TA2 stuff and some other Trans Am stuff. So he's come up with a bit of a road course background for having a NASCAR dad. He's went the road course route, and that's looked pretty good on him so far. Cousin Danny says Austin Green definitely stood out to him. I don't get why the books don't like him. Me either, but I love it. Let's keep it that way. Laura checking in. Laura says, howdy, Cody. Howdy, Laura. How are you? I'm glad this is my final episode going solo. Rod will be back next week, so I am excited about that. Cousin Danny says, if you're watching, please like the stream. Help the boys out. That's right. Man of the people, Cousin Danny. Appreciate that. All those likes and hearts and thumbs up and comments, all that stuff helps out our AI overlords and their algorithms, all that fun stuff. And then Denver Thurston checking in. First time I think I've seen you in the chat, so welcome in. Glad to have you. Says a dark horse pick for Xfinity is Jack Perkins to win. So did talk about Perkins just a few minutes ago. If you hadn't tuned in just yet, I took Sam Mayer over him in the head-to-head matchup that's out there. As far as like dark horse to win, I was trying to remember where he is in the outright odds. So I was pulling that up. He's the fourth favorite on the board, 15-1. So dark horse. I don't know if that's really a dark horse if you're the 4th favorite. And again, kind of being his first start at 15-1, you could play the supercars like street course experience card. Fine. We're going to get to the outrights in a little bit, and I've got some thoughts. But I think that this is going to be an SVG Zilich. I think it's going to mostly be an SVG show, but I think it's going to be those 2 guys more than anything. And Ash checking in says, no disrespect to the rest of the field, but it's SVG versus Zilich. So yeah, exactly. Echoing my thoughts there. Sportsbooks are scared to offer the top 10s because there will be some big prices out there. I do think that you're absolutely correct there, Ash. And I do think it is SVG and Zilich. And when we get to the outrights here in a few, I think that we'll expand on that a little more. TK checking in on Austin Green says he's limited by the inconsistent teams he drives for. Clearly a good road course racer, but with so many of those, that is why the books undervalue him for top 5 odds. Completely agree. That is probably the one thing that holds him back, right? Jordan Anderson equipment is fine. It's not the worst out there, but if you could get him in that JGR 19 car or something, oh man, I would be so excited. We'd be running car lifts, all kinds of stuff on Austin Green. I'd love to see him in a great car with an opportunity like that. Of course, it takes money, it takes funding, and you know they're doing the best that they can. And Dale Jr. had his dad David on the Dale Jr. download a couple of weeks. I think it was a couple of weeks ago, maybe right before Mexico even. And they were sort of had that conversation and how tough it is to get into those rides. But man, if we could get him in a good ride, I would certainly love to see that. Denver saying it would be hilarious if Jack Perkins win because Xfinity Field got beat by a supercars pit reporter. It would be funny. I don't know. We'll see. We've not obviously seen him. But and Laura says at least Zilich has value to bet. I don't know. Does he? It's I don't know. And if Zilich beats SVG, would you reconsider comparing him? You got to go. You're new to NASCAR, cousin Danny. You got to go back and look at Ty Gibbs in the Xfinity series. And Charles says nope. Instead, we get Sawalich. Oh my God, it's just I'm taking a little bit. We're gonna pump the brakes on Fade Sawalich road course this week. Just tossing that out there for you that get local matchups, and we usually hammer against Sawalich every week. I'm probably still going to put some on it, just maybe not as much as normal. He's been somewhat of an okay road course guy, so I will give him that. But he sucks everywhere else, as is well noted. And yeah, Charles says Austin would win in a JGR car. I really do think that Austin Green would be, in competition for wins and really good finishes if he was in a JGR type of car like that. So maybe that's something that we will see, hopefully sooner rather than later, because I would absolutely love to see that. Speaking of things I would love to see, I know Rod would love to talk about Jesse Love if he was here. So I'm going to talk about Jesse Love since Rod isn't here. I'm going to take his top 5, 4-1 as well. Could be an interesting, I'd be extremely, what would the number be? Maybe around even money or so for him, top 10. I would love to see that. You go back to last year. Again, SVG, Ty Gibbs, Kyle Larson. Then it was Parker Kligerman. Jesse Love with a 5th place finish. Hell of a run for him last year here. And you go back and look at what he's done. Mexico City was an 18th place day. I feel like there was some strategy or something that maybe got him mixed up, or he might have been in one of those spins, something. I don't recall exactly, but a 6th place run back at Coda, so a solid run by Jesse Love in that first race. Go back and look at last year, 19th of the Roval, okay, but 6th place at Watkins Glen. You like to see that. Of course, he had the 5th place finish here. 12th at Sonoma wasn't too bad of a run. Bit of a rough day at Portland, but a 6th place run at Coda as well. You don't have much else to look at for him because he's only been in the series these 2 seasons. So, but at 4-1, again, we're just kind of searching around for some value. Basically, the way I'm looking at this is it's going to be SVG and Zilich taking up spots 1 and 2, right? So you've got 3 other spots in there to fill. If we could get Love, Eckes, and Green, that'd be absolutely beautiful. Probably not going to happen, right? That's the part where sometimes you got to bet all 3 of them because if you just pick one, that could be the one you miss, right? And that's how it goes. But I think that all 3 of these guys are definitely in the mix for a top 5 this week. And Love has been just impressive. And Rod talks about him a lot. Usually Rod's the one who's got him on his card here, but he's been a very, very impressive young driver, quick up and coming guy. So I think that, we saw it last year with him having a good run right behind those Cup guys. We've seen some other road courses where he's done really well. So, I like to see that from Love. Let's see, checking back in with the chat again. Laura says plus 125 for Zilich. Tiny value. Hey, a little bit of value, better than no value, I guess, if you're into that kind of thing. Ash saying Eckes over Sawalich is the head-to-head, is the go-to head-to-head, but doesn't see it available. I would take Eckes over Sawalich this week, so I'm hoping, and I know not everybody gets these options, but there are a lot of people out there who have the local stuff or the back alley kind of things. And if you do, I always try to drop those plays in the Discord because we don't usually get them until 30 minutes before the race. Hypothetically speaking, if you were to have those types of things. But usually if Swalich will qualify well, we'll get some head-to-heads against him, and that's been a very profitable strategy. So definitely make sure you're over in the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord to join the conversation. Denver says, should we have a Supercars versus NASCAR face-off? See who really is the best driver in those two series. That's what's tough, though, is because, like, if you're on a street course, that's kind of their backyard. Same with road course. But the ovals, we've seen SVG, it's taken some time. That's what kind of makes it tough to really compare. Everybody's good in their own discipline, right? Cousin Danny, I don't get how Gibbs ever drove an Xfinity car. Was he a fetus back then? Pretty much, right? But yeah, and Kaz Gralla would be better than Swalich, Sam says. Absolutely, he would. Man, I was a little interested in Gralla. He did finish well here 2 years ago, but again, that was kind of the race where we didn't really get any racing. So, but he's in the 24 car this week. For Sam Hunt Racing. I'm already in on a Jordan Anderson car, but definitely a name to note for Kaz Gralla. Certainly somebody that could have a pretty decent day. So yeah, and then let's see, Sam Smith saying his name and likeness, Sammy Smith. Are you guys cousins, brothers? What's up with that? Sam Smith, Sammy Smith. Will be in the top 5 until he wrecks with 6 to go. There is a couple head-to-heads with Sammy Smith out there. I tried looking at those. Sammy Smith, a pretty decent road course guy, but I don't love betting on him. So, yeah, I guess that's kind of where we're at for that. So, all right, I have got a few more plays on the card, and I will tell you about those here in just a moment. But first, I would like to tell you about our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Best Ball Mania is happening all summer long. They're giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million to first place. No waiver wire, no arguments about trades. Best Ball is the best way to play fantasy football. Underdog is also a great place to play Pick'em. I was looking over through the Underdog stuff for Pick'em. They do finally have NASCAR stuff up. So, we didn't get a chance to talk about that yesterday on the fantasy show. I will have some post-qualifying picks out over on the YouTube, but I'll do a YouTube short with that. But Chris Buescher's at 11.5. Do they ever learn with this guy? I don't think they do. 16 for 19 top 10s in the next-gen era on road course / street courses. So hammer the better than for Mr. Buescher. For me, that is definitely my favorite play. So make sure you go over there, sign up with the promo code RACESGPN to claim your special pick, plus your first-time deposit bonus offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code RACESGPN. Then I would also like to tell you about our friends over at Rhythm. Rhythm, you've heard us talk about them before, and they just dropped a new game-changing feature called Power Trends. These are AI-detected patterns where Rhythm's model has consistently won at a high ROI. Think a strikeout prop that wins 59% of the time when the line and probability hit a certain range. Power Trends are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythm. No touts, no noise, just clean data-backed bets. Download the Rhythm app, check out the Power Trends, start betting smarter. You know we will be. They've got one for tonight in the WNBA. This game going live in about 2 hours here. So if you're listening live, you can still get in on this. Jackie Young, first up on their radar, under 19.5 points plus rebounds. It's minus 106. Rhythm's model projects 14.7 points plus rebounds, 88% win probability. It's hit on the under 6 of the last 7 away games. Power Trends, that's hitting 63% this season when all conditions are met. So I am certainly going to be placing a bet on that. I'm actually going to write that down real quick because I need to do that after the show. So yeah, make sure you head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm to get your 7-day free trial started today. All right, we will get back into it here. Sam Smith denying any and all relations with Sammy Smith. I don't blame you. He's also from Iowa, so we know, that's never great. But just kidding. Love you, people from Iowa, specifically Justin and Miranda and Nick Fortune, of course. Iowa just sucks at football, so that's all that matters. Tall Boy 73. Dan Bovada must have been getting hammered as they only have outrights posted right now. Dang. I looked a little bit ago. They had outrights in top threes. But yeah, I didn't see more than that. I was hoping maybe they'd have some top tens even, but nothing. So, and Ash is saying Ash sees top three, top five, and head to head now over on the Bovada. So, yeah, check that out. The who makes great supercars driver debate continuing in the chat. Denver Thurston says, I would say Ty Gibbs, Kyle Larson, AJ, and Tyler Reddick would all make great supercar drivers. Don't get some of these guys started on Ty Gibbs. It's going to sound like rods in the room. But speaking of Ty Gibbs, that's actually a great transition into my next bet because Ty Gibbs is the listed owner for the number 54 car over in the Xfinity series. That car is Pylon Taylor Gray. We don't break out the car lift in Xfinity very often, but we are rolling with the Taylor Gray car lift this week. We're going to take his top five. You go over to DraftKings, you get the best number on that, plus 250. Top three over on Hard Rock at 7-1. And then I probably make this kind of quick, but FanDuel has got him listed at 34-1 to win this race outright. He is not listed at that high of a number. A lot of places I saw 18-1 one place. I think 25 is kind of his average. So 34-1 over on FanDuel. Look, I'm about to tell you in a second how SVG is going to kill everybody in this race, but you want to have your insurance plays. Taylor Gray is a great insurance play at 34-1. And then I love the top three, the top five on top of that. Another guy like Eckes, rookie in the series this year, so we don't have a ton of data to go back on. This will be his first start in the Chicago street race. He did run a limited schedule last year in Xfinity, but did not make any road course starts and did not race here at Chicago either. But what has he done this season? We started out at Coda, starts in 7th place, finishes in 7th place, a nice, strong, solid run. Then we went to Mexico City a couple of weeks ago. He started in 8th place. He finished second to SVG in that race. Looked really good late, led a couple laps, or led a lap, I guess, before SVG got around him and obviously ran away with things. But, SVG had a 16-second lead, but let's say he makes a mistake. Let's say a lap car gets in the way, something happens. Suddenly Taylor Gray sitting right there. I mean, come on, Taylor Gray sitting right there, ready to pounce. And he would have cashed the top 5, of course, would have cashed the top 3 in that race as well. So Taylor Gray, a guy that I really like a lot this week. And I think in his short time, we talked about him. I've been big on Taylor Gray. We're 4th season of this podcast. I've been big on him since season 1. Started betting on him back in the truck series, and we've seen kind of a slow progression. But he jumped into this truck or the Xfinity series this year after he was good in the trucks last year, but you didn't really see flashes like greatness or anything. But he jumped into this car in Xfinity, and he's been pretty solid, which William Swalich is not aware of. But when you jump into JGR cars full time, you should be pretty good right away. Swalich has not figured that part out, but Taylor Gray has. Taylor Gray has been really great so far. And I think if you just want to go with the top 5, be safe, 250. SVG, Zilich run away with this thing. Gray, I think, is going to be in the mix for one of those next 3 cars inside of the top 5 there. The top 3, maybe he's the one that's right behind them. And then to win the race at 34-1, look, it's probably going to be Zilich or SVG, and we're going to talk about that more here in a second. But if it's not, I think he's a guy can put himself in a really good spot, have a chance to win this. 35, holy shit! If you've got Bovada, Ash checking in, 50-1. Okay, I've not really bet on Bovada in a while, but I'm gonna have to log back into the count to that. 50-1. If you can bet that, boy, that is a great number. Charles saying would have loved Taylor, or we've loved Taylor Gray ever since he almost won IRP in that 17 truck. That was a great race. I think he's an exciting young racer. He's obviously got a lot of backing and stuff behind him, being able to get it full time into this JGR, right? And so far, I would say he's really making the most of it, right? He's put himself in position, doesn't have a win yet, maybe hasn't truly competed for a win, but he's put himself in position where he's been close to a couple of wins. And that's the kind of thing you want to see at 34-1, at 50-1. Starting to get Sheldon Creed vibes if he doesn't win this year. It's still early. He's a rookie. Give the guy some time. I know a couple of second place finishes in there, but we're not quite there yet. Cousin Danny, Cody's trying to smack talk Iowa. Meanwhile, here in SEC, we refer to Oklahoma as the Nebraska of the SEC. SEC, do they still play football? I think Big Ten is where all the football's played these days. But hey, that's okay. So Taylor Gray car lift, friends. That is one that I do like a lot. And then getting to the outright market. So SVG, top of the board, is a fairly heavy favorite. Most places he's minus 115. There's some minus 125, some minus 150s out there. It's a hefty favorite, right? And I'm pulling up FanDuel here to get a look at the entire board as we scroll over to the Xfinity tab. So he's minus 115. Zilich is at plus 135. And then it jumps all the way down. Sam Mayer on FanDuel is the next listed one at 15-1. That's how much the books think that this is going to be SVG, that this is going to be. Not agree more with the books. I think that it is to be these two drivers battling it out up front. They're both in JRM cars. They're both Trackhouse drivers. They're both in Red Bull sponsorship cars. By the way, SVG's car this weekend, and Zilich's too, but SVG's got the WeatherTech and Red Bull. It's like a dual primary sponsorship. Beautiful car. I posted over in the Discord. Go check it out or Google it, whatever. Absolute gorgeous, gorgeous car. Looks beautiful. It's going to look great in Victory Lane. But these two guys, head and shoulders above the rest of the competition. I don't think there's any question about it. Now, that being said, as we've watched NASCAR all year, right? Corey Heim can attest to this more times than he can't. The favorites don't always win. Even when they dominate these races, things can go wrong. And Zilich, the most recent example of that, dominates Mexico City, does not win the race, right? He got caught up late, ended up wrecked and whatever, fought his way back and still had a decent finish, but didn't win it. So with that being said, I think a Taylor Gray is a great insurance bet to have. And there's one other guy I'm going to give you in a second that I think is a great insurance bet as well. But I think you pick your poison between SVG and Sam Mayer. You pick which one you like. You roll with that guy. And I don't think that you'll feel bad, even at minus 115, betting a guy like Shane Van Gisbergen. And that's what I plan to do. I think that SVG is head and shoulders above. So you go back to the Cup Series race. I talked about this. I don't think that he's worth betting as the favorite. I think he should win the Cup Series race. But I think there's too many things that can go wrong in a Cup race. I think there's too many people that are close in competition that could battle with him, right? We saw it even last year with a guy like Chris Buescher, Watkins Glen. He's going to have more of an advantage here. Yes, it's harder for me to get to the point of, and I'm not going to bet him outright in the Cup race because I think there's a lot of things that could go wrong. There's definitely things that can go wrong in the Xfinity series, but I think there's less things, and the competition is just not as stiff. Zilich is tough competition. I think Mayer is tougher than the books are giving him credit for, but it's really SVG versus Zilich. SVG is the much more accomplished guy long-term, experienced guy. I think that's going to come into play. I think SVG runs away with this. He did last year, right? Got one start here. It was last year. He started in first. He won the race. He led 14 of the 50 laps. It didn't lead all day, and some of that stage flipping and stuff, you're going to get that. He did win stage one, but second in stage two after flipping it, getting back there. But it's his race to run away with and to do well in. And you look at what he did in the Xfinity series last year. He hasn't made any starts yet this season, but his rookie year last year, he comes in, looks pretty good right away. Coda, he comes out, he leads 20 laps, racing with Kyle Larson there late, ends up going off track, finishes the 27th. The result was not indicative of how he ran. Went to Portland, he won there. Went to Sonoma, led 32 laps, he won there. Came here, led 14 laps, won. Went to Watkins Glen, had a good day, ended up with a fifth place finish, didn't quite win there. The Roval ended up with a third place finish, so another good run. He's been really good. And all of that was in Kaulig cars. Now he's in a JRM car. It's just, I do not mind betting minus 115 here. It's not sexy to do. But back in the day with Kyle Busch, I used to religiously bet him 10 times a year in trucks, Xfinity. He had his 10 appearances. He would win every single time. You dog walk the field. That's what SVG is going to do to this field. Zilich, the only one I think is going to be some competition for him. But I think that if it just comes head-to-head, I will take SVG all day. So give me SVG to win at minus 115. I think that is the way to go in the Xfinity series. I also think if you're wanting to bet him in Cup, you could parlay the two. You get him at plus 400, so it's not like it's great, but I think it's a little bit of a better number at least. And also, Sam Smith bringing up, parlay him with the F1 bet. I gave out Hamilton. If you were listening, if you didn't fast forward through the ads, which you didn't if you're live, but hopefully you did on the podcast either. I gave out Hamilton during the my bookie read, 18-1. You parlay the two, 35-1. I'm going to give that as official play. Lewis Hamilton to win the F1 race, and SVG to win. I've seen some guys, our guy F1 Capper from the F1 Money Gang, they were talking about parlaying SVG with Alex Palou in IndyCar. They're talking about also parlaying that with Max Verstappen to win F1. Maybe you just take some favorites there. So not a bad idea at all doing that. But SVG minus 115, I think, is the play. Two small insurance plays. I already gave you the Taylor Gray at 34-1 and Sam Mayer at 16-1. If you go over to BetMGM, I mentioned he's 15-1 on FanDuel, but 16-1 on MGM, I noticed was a little bit of a bigger number. So I'll take that. It should be SVG and it should be Zilich, right? We've seen time and time again. Things can happen, circumstances. You're wrong in the car like Christopher Bell at Mexico, right? Nothing you could do about it. Sometimes things just break. Maybe you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, like SVG was in the Cup race last year at Chicago, and ends up in the wall, ends up losing, finishing dead last, even though probably the best car out there, right? So those types of things can happen. Things do go wrong. That's why you have your insurance plays. Sam Mayer, I already talked about it earlier when I talked about him over Jack Perkins. He is a great road course racer. He got dubbed as AJ Allmendinger Jr. A couple of seasons ago. So I like that. And oh, yes, the chat's getting creative. I like it. Ash says, I'm going to parlay SVG with Buescher top 10 plus 275. Oh, yeah, buddy. Now we're talking. I like that. Love the Buescher top 10 play. So, yeah, put something else you love. And I know our buddy Phil over on Full Tank with Phil podcast does it a lot. He's a big Phillies fan. He'll bet the Phillies and SVG to win or whatever that play is, right? And the Phillies win or whatever bet he puts on them. Now suddenly you got a bigger number. That definitely makes it a little better. And Ash, as Ash puts it in, says actually makes it plus 350. So even better. But I do think SVG is the way to go. And then I think you just sprinkle it with Sam Mayer. I love getting the third favorite on the board at 16-1. That to me feels like a great. I agree with them that it is SVG and Zilich by quite a bit. I don't know that Mayer should be 16-1, but I will absolutely take it at that number. And then having the Gray as part of the car lift on there as well, I think is great. Tally Boy tossing out Love at 50-1. That's, talked about him for the top 5 a minute ago. That could be an interesting, good insurance play. Justin Allgaier, he's always dangerous. 25-1 over on Bovada. That's one that could be a little bit of a play as well. Cousin Danny saying it's a shame Grant Park never really got a time to shine because of weather. But a Coronado Island race sounds incredible, not going to lie. Yeah, it does. That's why I'm kind of hoping for just 2 good non-weather races this weekend for the reason of just so we can see it because we haven't got that opportunity. It's been some rain, especially the Xfinity race 2 years ago was just complete shit show. And the Cup race was kind of a shit show as well. But yeah, that's where it is. So, Cousin Danny says, every book I know of lets you parlay NASCAR will let you parlay SG with anyone else, but not with himself. I did it. Well, so currently not sitting in a legal state, but I put the two together on Caesars and it appeared that it was going to let me do it. So maybe check over there. That's where I got the plus 404 number by putting that in, but not sitting in legal state. Maybe it would have kicked it out when I tried to go bet it. But, some of these other guys, to Ash's point, and Sam's point, parlay him SVG with an F1 bet or with a Buescher top 10. You can get creative to make some of those numbers a little bit bigger. So, all right, get out your pen and paper. Unfortunately, I did not have time to make a graphic for this one like I did with the Cup race. Sorry, guys. I know you love your graphics, but you can at least come back to this part and, let me walk you through it. So, started off with Sam Mayer over Jack Perkins, minus 115 over on DraftKings. Christian Eckes, top 5, plus 475 over on Hard Rock. Austin Green, my guy, 18-1 over on DraftKings. Actually saw that 18-1 number a couple places. I think Bet365 has that as well, JDK. So some love for you there. Speaking of love, Jesse Love, top 5, plus 400. I'm going to go ahead and assume that is a Rod Villagomez endorsed pick because he loves love. The Taylor Gray ran the car lift there. Top 5 plus 250 on DK. Top 3, 7-1 over on Hard Rock. 34-1 to win on FanDuel. I do not think that number is going to stick around when y'all start hitting it. So hit it sooner rather than later. That's what she said. Okay. SVG minus 115. I think that he's the way to go. I think he is the outright pick. I think that, he's going to win by 16 seconds like he did in the Cup Series at Mexico City, and you're going to just cash an easy bet, and it's going to be as simple as that. But you always take the insurance plays. Sam Mayer 16-1. And then, again, parlay if you want to. SVG with himself to win both races. You get a 4-1. You can also parlay it with the Lewis Hamilton bet, 35-1. I love that play. You can parlay it with the Buescher bet, top 10 plus 350. Love that play as well. And then Sam Smith says Sam Mayer had 3 road wins in 2023, pre-Gibbs, pre-SVG, pre-Zilich. Yeah, that's I guess, that's a good point that it was pre or post-Gibbs and pre those other guys. That is a great point. So, he was getting those wins when, those other guys weren't around. So, and do I think he's going to just go out-duel SVG this weekend? Probably not, right? I think he's potentially capable, but probably not. But that's kind of a play where, hey, SVG, gets wrecked. And then Zilich has a penalty. Suddenly, Sam Mayer's now in the catbird seat right up front. And it's like, okay, he's a great guy when these just fucking excellent, amazing superstar road course guys aren't up there. He's, the best of the rest, I think, very easily over the rest of the field. So I love getting that opportunity. But the weather report, Xfinity says 0% chance of rain on Saturday. I'll tell you right now, there's no such thing as a 0% chance in the Midwest, but that is a good sign. So, and then 78% with a thunderstorm for Cup. So, interesting. I will check out the DM from you, Ash, so we can hopefully get Discord figured out. Laura says, thanks again, Cody. Thank you, Laura. I appreciate everybody sticking with me this week as I, it's if you've been a long time listener, I've hosted the show numerous times over the years. Rod, has Army stuff going on. I would say it's getting better. I think I'm getting a little bit more smooth. It was really bad the first couple times, like couldn't listen to it bad, but we're getting there. Rod's taught me a lot over these 640 some episodes. So shout out to him for that. I miss you, buddy. Can't wait to see you next week. Rod will be back with me next week. We'll be talking about Sonoma. He's going to be headed out to Sonoma, so really excited for that. So make sure you follow him at RJ Villagomez over on the X. Make sure you follow the show as well at NASCAR Gambling. Like, subscribe, YouTube, podcasts, wherever you listen, all that stuff. You can follow me as well at Husker_Zeeb. Ton of stuff over there, ton of content, always kind of cranking out. Happy Independence Day. Happy 4th of July to everybody. Be safe out there as you celebrate. Have a good time. Enjoy it, right? That's the freedom we have, that we get to celebrate. We love it. But be safe. Keep all your fingers, your toes, all that stuff. Shout out to the chat again. Pleasure to talk NASCAR. Absolutely, it fucking is. Laura with the wave. To everybody else that helped carry me through this week in the chat. Shout out to all of you. I appreciate it. Good luck this week at Chicago. Enjoy it. Probably the last time we're getting Chicago, right? So enjoy it while it's around. Let's go racing and let it ride.